This is The Hub on Hollywood, an iHeartRadio podcast. I'm your co-host, James Rojas.
I'm the other co-host, Jamie Blanco.
On this week's episode, Daredevil Born Again, born on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Streaming on Disney Plus now. A lot of reviews have been coming out because I understand the first 2 episodes are out, or
Yes.
is the entire...
No, it's first 2.
First 2
and then
episodes.
weekly release. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have not seen it, so Jamie will be good and a good person and give us a non-spoiler review of the first 2 episodes. Really looking forward to that. A local Massachusetts native-based actor appearing in a new Hulu series titled Deli Boys.
Yes.
We check out the series premiere watch party. Jamie got a sneak peek at that.
Mm-hmm.
So this one also looks really good too. Jaws swimming back into the movie theaters. How movies have changed over the years from when we first saw them at a younger age to when we're watching them now. Have they aged gracefully? Have they aged terribly? Do we see them differently with our new life experience? We'll get into that and more. But Jamie, let's first talk about, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, AI.
Oh, boy.
For better or for worse, it is with us. It is not going away. Hopefully it's getting better, but for, in the hands of good people. But speaking about those who may not be so good, the folks over at Amazon Prime, I'll ask for your reaction in a second, but okay. Amazon, they're testing out some new AI-generated dubbing over some, a select number of TV shows, certain select number of movies. So say if it was in English, they're using AI voice to overdub it to translate into Spanish and vice versa. When you first hear about this, what goes through your head?
Actors' jobs.
Actors' jobs, yeah.
Actors' jobs. Absolutely not. This is part of what, the SAG-AFTRA union has been trying to prevent and trying to protect jobs. And it doesn't work. I don't think it's going to work at all.
Right.
You're dubbing over like a TV show with a digital voice, with a computer. Is the computer going to bring you heart? Is the computer going to convey the humanity of what's going on? It can't. It can't. Say you're having a dramatic scene, it's, oh, my father, or whatever, or a romantic scene.
And it's like, mi papa, mi papa,
and, yeah.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué tú me haces esto?
No, that'd be better than the AI, but yeah.
I don't see this working at all. And even if, I'm talking about like shows being dubbed from other languages into English or English into other, I don't think that it can capture the heart of what these shows need to convey.
Yeah.
And who needs the dubbing? People who, A, don't speak the language, or maybe, for people who can't see, can't hear. Can't see, right?
Right.
Yeah, there we go. If you can't hear, it doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah, and then you are robbing them of the experience, of the drama, of whatever is being conveyed by the art. The art is gone, okay? Yeah. Artificial intelligence cannot replace art, and I'm now mad.
Well, this is only the beginning because they're rolling this out under this kind of like pilot program, but people already online have been blasting it, just saying, a wide variety of stuff. For example, folks on Reddit, someone says, caption, because there's no point in listening to the girl from Google Maps talk throughout the whole movie. Another one, dubbers seeing this and knowing their jobs will be secured for a while longer just because of how bad it is right now. However, somebody points out, voice actors seeing this and realizing they could have done this work if it weren't for this, crappy replacement.
Yeah.
A lot of people talking about how they're canceling Amazon Prime and other issues, saying, Amazon, hey, don't worry, Amazon's a small independent company. It doesn't have the money to pay for a dubbing team. So, we can play a little portion of this. This is, I don't know what show this is from, but I believe this was in English first, and then try to, just listen to this.
Vamos falar como duas pessoas maduras e vamos resolver tudo, ok? Okay.
Yeah. So that one thing that stands out. Not only does it not sound smooth, it does not sound human, but also I feel like it mutes the background noise. So I don't know if there's supposed to be music or just like ambient noise in the background, but it just sounds like it's kind of operating in a wind tunnel where it's just like very echoey. You just hear the AI speak.
And it feels like every time there's like a shift in emotion, you can tell that there's like a pause and it doesn't like really emote as much, right? It's like, I wonder how they actually do this. Like you have got the line of dialogue and then maybe they tell it, now be sad, now be scared, now gasp.
That's a lot of work as opposed to having somebody just go in and dub it. So Amazon Prime, they say the program will use a hybrid approach that allows for local professionals to collaborate with the AI for quality control. If this is the quality control that we're seeing and hearing at the moment, not that much confidence, which again, maybe people will be completely turned off by this and this will just this bad idea will sink.
How about this idea? Pay actors.
No,
just a thought.
Don't be silly.
Just a thought,
don't be silly.
But I do want to see like, can we do this like on the Hub on Hollywood? Because I would just like to see like the Spanish come out of your mouth. Like
yeah.
To see how.
Well, it probably sounds
James
much.
Rojas.
It probably sounds much better than how I speak Spanish. So I'm out of a job if that happens.
Okay.
But you know, speaking of the pros of AI, the pros of artificial intelligence, you know, the AI giveth and they take it away. Taketh away. But in this case, there giveth a lot because there's this one guy, YouTube channel, Elf Tale Films. I guess he's done this with several movies, but the one that's really like gone viral is an AI music-fied version of the Anakin versus Obi-Wan Kenobi fight scene. And you saw it, right?
Yes.
I sent you a link to this. And the first time I saw it, I heard the song again. So for those who haven't seen it, it's basically the scene where Anakin and Kenobi, they confront each other on Mustafar right after Anakin, Force chokes Padme, and they use the poster. Elf Tale Films used AI to not only generate new images of this, but to generate the actors singing the actual the scripts. So whatever they're saying in the movie during those scenes, it gets songified, and they made it into this very like hardcore rock metal kind of version. And I'll play a little bit just because like it's really really good. There's one part that people keep like pointing to that they love the most.
I love that Anakin and. I love that they actually have microphones edited in.
Like the AI had brought in microphones and like at certain points Anakin and Kenobi are like rocking on a guitar like having a solo. So it sounds ridiculous, but it's like an earworm. It's in my brain now and I'm just repeating this following line of like all week long. So here we go. This is Anakin versus Obi-Wan, but it's a musical.
It's my new empire. Your new empire. Don't make me kill you. To democracy, if you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must. You will try. I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
That is so hard. It did not need to go that hard.
It does not have to go that hard, but it does. And so, like, this is if we could have this, if AI could just have fun, dumb stuff like this, I'm all for it. I don't think this harms anybody. This is like another level of meme, of memeing. Memeing has been upgraded.
Wow.
This is memeing on steroids. I think
that's gone up quite a bit. But yeah. Fun stuff,
this
right?
I support.
Parodies and things like that. That's fine, but not like legit music. Because then there's the whole like there have been so many AIs. Like you take like all of Eminem's music, you put it into a machine, and you ask it to spit out like an Eminem song, and it does, and it actually sounds like legit. Like that part is scary. But as long as the lines of delineation are clear on what is parody, what is free use, and what is like protected, that's where it all gets blurry and controversial. But this is clearly where it's okay. Like this is
where I draw the line.
Stuff.
This is anything beyond this is bad. But this hits the spot, I think.
And again, I failed you.
I failed you. That's so good. And it's funny because people just keep commenting and like the goosebumps. This makes that whole sequence more intense, like a music video.
So I have a question for you. So there have been books that have been turned into musicals, movies that have been turned into musicals. Do you think that we need a Star Wars musical? That's my question.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
They're pumping out too many things already.
many
We don't need that on
Okay.
top of everything else
All right.
that we're getting.
Is there-
Just give me Andor season 2, and I call it quits.
Oh, and The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. There's a movie coming out. Did you know
I
that?
don't know. The Mando versus Baby Yoda. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mando versus Grogu movie.
Is there anything you think should be turned into a musical?
I could have a Forrest Gump musical.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a fun musical.
I
Yeah.
dig that.
Be
I
like,
think that-
life is like a box of chocolates. Jenny, get over here.
No. Not
Not in that style. Hello, my Jenny. Hello, my darling.
Oh,
Hello,
God.
my gumbo shrimp.
I'm just going this
Okay.
way.
Okay. Oh goodness. But yeah, I'd be down for a Forrest Gump musical.
Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
you.
like that. You know what else we like? We love our movies and projects that are filmed right here in New England, in Massachusetts, and an all-time classic, an all-time favorite, Jaws. It is swimming back to movie theaters this summer for the 50th anniversary. Alamo Drafthouse, for example, they're kicking off a summer-long Jaws celebration over the Memorial Day weekend in May, hosting screenings. They have a Jaws on the Water screening, which will take place at the Alamo Drafthouse Roadshow in Martha's Vineyard.
The Vineyard.
In the vineyard where the film was shot. They're going to have additional Jaws on the Water screenings that will occur in Austin, Texas in June and in July. Now, quick little sidetrack. When I was a kid, I wanted to be like a little entrepreneur, come up with a lot of ideas and stuff. And, of course, back then I loved movies. I loved the drive-in. But I thought they should make a row-in theater experience. So, like,
okay.
you and maybe your date, you get on a little, boat thingy. And, the water's not that deep, but, it's enough to float. And you just kind of row to your post where there's as if you would drive to, a post for a drive-in theater, a drive-in movie theater. You have,
Like a little dock.
Yeah, like the little speaker you
thing.
put in. Nowadays, you can just tune on the radio in your car. But back in the day, you got this little speaker box, and you would hang it inside your window in your car. And that's how you would listen to the movie. My idea was, you should have a row-in theater where you can row to your spot, have a little picnic, and watch the movie. That'd be romantic, and it'd be great to watch a movie like Jaws.
Yeah.
Someone else stole it, I guess. Alamo Drafthouse, they stole my
That's great.
idea.
I'm sorry.
Or maybe somebody else, but
You could sue them.
it's too much work. Too much
Metro
work. I'll hire an AI lawyer to draft all the legal paperwork and documents. But
There you
go. Yeah, Jaws 50th anniversary.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I wasn't born 50 years ago,
no,
but
neither I.
I feel old. I feel old. You know who's never old? Who never gets old? Jamie Lee Curtis.
She doesn't.
No.
No, she doesn't. She is a marvelous, amazing human being. Jamie Lee Curtis, she is starring in a film called Ella McKay that was filmed here recently in New England. They are getting a release date on that movie, which I forgot to look up. So
Let's see. With the power of Google.
Exactly.
Let's see. Ella McKay, IMDb. Oh, you know who else? While we're searching, who else is in this movie? Another a Boston native is Ayo Edeburi.
Yes.
Ayo Edeburi from Dorchester.
From Dorchester. So
Dorchester.
exciting. September 19th.
September 19th.
September 19th is the release date for Ella McKay. It's about an up-and-coming political savant who is juggling familial issues and challenges while being thrust upon the big political stage, the gubernatorialship, I believe. So Woody Harrelson is also in this.
Yeah.
Good-looking cast. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Emma
is,
McKay stars as Ella McKay.
Yeah.
That's way too on the nose. I don't like that, actually.
Isn't it?
Camille Nanjiani is on there as well. Let's see, who else do I know? I don't know anybody else, but great cast.
Yeah, so when they were filming here, they took over a bunch of local locations around Boston.
And Providence, right?
lots
Also,
of-
Rhode Island? Yeah.
Yeah. And people had really good experiences with Jamie Lee Curtis because she is so gracious, because she is so funny. Just stories of her joking with the cast, joking with the background actors, joking with people on the street that were watching and waving and just being just being the wonderful, wonderful person that she is. So this one looks really good. I'm looking forward to it. So September 19th, Ella McKay. We definitely want to check out their one.
All right. Let us know if you're going to watch it, if you're planning to watch it. You should support it.
Yes,
obviously a
you
local
should.
film. Not filmed locally. I don't know where they filmed this this stuff. Or Disney must have like a giant lot, I'm sure, right? Where they just film everything.
Yeah,
The Disney
in one
lots?
spot.
Is there a lot? I don't know what they do. Well, Disney, they're out with the revived, you could say, born again series of Daredevil. Like I said, I have not seen it. You saw the first 2 episodes.
Yes.
I know the internet is all abuzz, as it
Yes.
always is, always humming, always buzzing, never stopping. Some people are going crazy over this
Oh my gosh. Yes.
in good and bad ways.
In good and bad ways. So it is really hard to do a non-spoiler review. It's really hard to do any review of this without
Would you say
giving away
Would
huge
you say
spoilers.
people should go in blind?
Oh my gosh, we got to kick James out today. But
on
yes,
fire. Okay.
you should. You should go in blind. You really shouldn't know anything about this. But even in that spirit, okay, if you don't want to know, like, not even a single freaking thing, skip ahead a little bit. We have more local news, more local movie news in just, like 2 minutes. But if you'd like to hear about Daredevil, listen. I watched this with my sister-in-law. All I can say is that while we were watching this, the two of us were screaming, hitting the couches, jumping, pulling our hair. Like, what the hell did I just watch? And this can't be happening. And holy crap. Like, the whole time, both episodes was us just our jaws on the floor and just yelling and shouting and just really, really, really enjoying it. They took some huge risks. We have Charlie Cox back, obviously, as titular Daredevil. We've got Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin. We've got Bullseye. We've got the Punisher.
Isn't it like a White Tiger or somebody?
White Tiger, right. So we've got some new villains. We've got some old villains. We've got returning characters. We've got new characters. But they have taken a huge risk in this season, shaking things up, shaking the fandom to its core in a way that some people are saying could have a big negative impact on the MCU, could have a big negative impact on Daredevil itself if the rest of it doesn't deliver, if this character doesn't recover, but you know what? I think the risks are paying off. I think the risks are paying off in this. Everything about it was compelling, definitely in the original spirit of Daredevil. I love seeing Charlie Cox so much. He's come back.
We saw him in person. He was down in Boston with Vincent D'Onofrio for a fan expo event.
That's right, where we were with
Check
the
out
Hub
that
on
episode
Hollywood.
of the Hub on Hollywood.
Woo, 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 woo. It's just like that. Exactly. There we go.
So let me ask you this before we continue. So I know that Daredevil, Charlie Cox,
Yes.
he came back for a couple episodes in She-Hulk.
Yes.
I don't know if this is a spoiler, but is that the same universe, Charlie
Yes.
Cox? Because in that one, he was much more laid back, a little sillier.
Yes.
I would assume in the Born Again series, he's serious, or is he?
Oh, it's serious.
Yeah. So is that
Definitely
like fun
different
part,
tone.
personality gone, washed
It is
away?
a tremendous tone shift.
Okay.
So you're not getting the Charlie Cox from She-Hulk.
Okay.
But it is in the same universe. It's in the same timeline. That's before the events of what happens here. So Carefree Daredevil is in for a rough ride.
Okay. So this is before She-Hulk.
No, after She-Hulk.
Okay, so Daredevil's having a great time. It's like, man, this is great. I had
At least I think it is.
I had sex with a giant She-Hulk, and now he's back to Hell's Kitchen. He's like, dang it, I should have stayed with her. This sucks.
should have,
That being
yeah.
said, Vincent D'Onofrio, his version of Kingpin appeared in Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
With little girl Hawkeye, I'm forgetting her name. But in that one, he's a little more, again, maybe a little more lighthearted, not goofy per se, but definitely less menacing or mean, I would say, than the original Daredevil series. Is that lighthearted kind of silliness waved away also in this version.
Yes.
So but
it is in the right timeline.
So it's right timeline.
They do mention it, yeah.
But does that? I'm not sure if you saw Hawkeye.
I did, yeah.
Does that bother you? Do you just not care? Do you not think about that little tonal shift?
No, it doesn't bother me too much. It might bother other people. But I think that those shows needed to be what they were. They needed to be in their universe, their tone, their,
It's the same universe.
thing. I know it is, but, and I loved seeing these characters in a different context, in a different show where you get to see a little bit of a different side of them for once. And that I like. I enjoy that because once they get back in their own show and you're following their main story, it's much more intense and all of that. So I want to see Daredevil happy.
Yeah.
Okay? I'd like to see him have that little romp with She-Hulk and whatnot. Like that was just so enjoyable. So because the hurt is coming.
Oh.
The hurt is coming for him. And no, it doesn't bother me. However, there are some fans, James, who I think they just have unrealistic expectations for what this show needs to be for the MCU. I think that some people's I've just seen so many people go on rants online. Like their visions for what it needs to be for the greater MCU is so specific and the bar is just way too high. I have minor nitpicks about what's happening in the new Daredevil. But you've got to give it some leeway. You got to give it some breathing room.
It's only the first
episodes. Yeah, it's only the first.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, and this is another one that is going to be coming out every week. Disney Plus. You got to make sure that you've got the right kind of Disney. Like you've got to put in your age to get the R restricted
so you can
stuff.
get Daredevil and Wolverine, like those types of movies, the R-rated ones.
And then don't mix up the kid in this one. Profiles or whatever, because it gets dark.
Interesting.
But I think that people should go see it. I had a great just experience watching it. Again,
it sounded like you were in a physical fight with your cousin or
my sister-in-law.
Your sister-in-law. It sounded like you were in a physical fight.
Couch,
You're like, we started punching the couch, pulling out hair, and then we turned on the show. What are you doing?
We're like, we got to calm down. Let's watch this.
That's funny. We're in the mood now. We get very well. We want to beat people up. All right. Well, so it sounds like you recommend.
I 100% recommend it. Go in with an open mind.
Heart.
An open heart, right? The last Daredevil came out in 2018.
Crazy.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Just go in with an open mind. I think that you'll really enjoy it.
Okay. And speaking of something that we are looking forward to and that we are going in with open hearts and pretty high expectations because the trailer looks amazing, is this new show called Deli Boys that has just started streaming on Hulu. The synopsis is when their convenience store magnate father suddenly dies, a pair of pampered Pakistani-American brothers lose everything and are forced to reckon with their baba's secret life of crime as they attempt to take up his mantle in the underworld. Really looking forward to watching this. Also looking forward to watching a local Massachusetts native actor who's popping up in so many things. It's crazy. Like his IMDb is looking fantastic. But a local actor who we will be talking to soon, and he hosted a watch party recently.
Yep, Shah Jahan Khan, and he hosted a watch party this weekend for Deli Boys that's premiering on Hulu. It was at Zoomix in East Boston, which is a fantastic community organization introducing kids to life in the arts, like music, television, radio. Really great organization. I'm glad that he teamed up with them for this event. It was great, and they're like in an old firehouse, so
nice.
It was a huge turnout. They screened about 4 episodes of the show and did a Q&A. I was there last night with them, so we've got some footage of the packed house, a little bit of his Q&A. So let's give that a quick listen right now.
Welcome to Zoomix. Just a quick house guidelines. We are, I guess, filled. We are packed. There is space still on the floor over here, folks. Are
Hello, I can't believe everybody actually came. There's a lot of people here. We may be breaking the fire code, but luckily it's a firehouse. I don't really have much to say. This is probably one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me in my life. I really appreciate specifically this whole community for always uplifting me as an artist, but just like all the work that Subdrift does, all the work that Zoomix does. And yeah, let's watch Deli Boys. That's a great question. The question was how much improv, how much scripted. A good amount of both, actually. So the Matthew, the golf caddy, for example, he was cast originally just to do that one line where he screams that Baba dies, but and this was his first ever show, or like first ever anything. Because he's an improv actor from Chicago, because they liked him so much, they ended up casting him in 6 episodes. Even our characters, the Mullets, we were only supposed to be in 2 episodes. But basically, I think as soon as the 4 of us sat down, they kind of understood, the rest of the team sort of understood what the concept of a Mullet is, and then they wrote us into 7 episodes.
In both Aftermath and this, some of the first words out of your mouth were, "What the fuck?" Can that be a catchphrase going forward? Can you do that in everything?
I guess I can.
Yeah.
Those are normally, what? But should I? I don't know. I mean, those are popular words that I unfortunately say all the time.
You're really good at saying it. I just want to say it.
Matt Shearer, everybody. The coolest thing about this show was that, you know, I've been on a handful of sets now. I've never really had like a bad working experience. I consider myself lucky, but this one in particular, because of the nature of the show, it was such a big family vibe, and also because it was such a big South Asian, in the sense that it's not like heavy-handed, you know, but like everybody just felt like family. Like I've told this story before, where on the final day, you know, people would come in on their days off, which is very unusual. On the very last, one of the last scenes, everybody was actually sitting on the floor like this. All of the showrunners, the executive producers, nobody was sitting in their fancy chairs with the names on them. And we were all just like watching this guy do a stunt because it was so cool. So, and, you know, so there was that. And then, you know, in terms of the representation stuff, there was like there was like Pakistani food in the catering. There was like 2 different kinds of lassi, mango lassi, rose lassi, and people like Brian who would just treat you like equals, who would empower you to like be better, you know, because for me, I was pretty terrified to be here on day 1, you know, but there's no other way. You just jump right in, and you always wonder if I ever got to do something like that, how badly would I mess it up? But luckily, like, they're all there to support you and stuff,
So Deli Boys, you watched the first 4 episodes. What'd you think?
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, James. Because what's so great about this is it's not just a crime drama. It's like a comedy crime drama.
Yeah.
And it is so well done. Like, the jokes are not like forced.
Yeah. It looks really good.
It is really good.
Yeah.
It is really, really good. It's poppy. It's current. It's hilarious. It's genuinely hilarious. And focusing on like East Asian culture, and it's done in just a really lovely way. But you see, like, I just loved it. I just loved seeing like the babas and the aunties, and you know, all the little cultural references that are worked into it. And it's just great to see our local boys, right?
Yeah.
Our local actors and actresses doing so well. He's also, I believe he said that he's going to be in one of the Walking Dead, Dead City
Oh, yeah, 'cause they filmed
episodes
that over
coming
here.
up.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. It was one of the last things that filmed most robustly here. So yeah, that's going to be exciting to see what he continues to do, and we're going to be talking with him next week, right?
Yeah, so next week, catch our episode with Shah Jahan Khan. We've been talking over the past several weeks, and so we're really looking forward to this interview that we're going to have on for the next week episode. But as we said, his IMDb is very impressive and only growing. So tune in next week for that episode, for that interview, where he'll come in and sit down and talk with us. Great. Well, we'll check out Deli Boys, again, streaming on Hulu at the moment. Speaking about stuff that is on streaming services, but, more and more these days, I've been wanting for physical copies, hard copies, DVDs, and all that stuff because of the streaming wars. I'm going on a tangent, but movies are great. Doesn't matter how you take them in, but it depends when you take them in, because many movies, when we watch them as a child, we probably maybe not caught everything that was in the movie. Maybe things went over our head. We didn't have certain life experiences that didn't really resonate with us, so moments that didn't impact us as much as they might do now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of movies that are like that for me. And so I saw this thread on Reddit kind of talking about, there's a quote, movies don't change, but you do. So
I like that.
Yeah, so I think it was Roger Ebert who said that. But yeah, that's really true, because there's so many movies nowadays where I rewatch it and I'm like, oh wow, I saw it from one character's perspective, because I was around that same age, or I could see myself, fit that role. But when you grow up and gain some life experience, you view the movie or the scenarios that unfold through someone else's perspective, someone else's
And you're like,
eyes.
what the heck?
And I'm like, oh my God.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and so I can kick it off.
Go for it.
Yeah, so the first one that popped up in my head was a Goofy movie. Where Goofy, he has a teenage son, Max. He's somewhat a little rebellious kind of a guy, a good kid overall, but kind of like can't help but get in trouble every now and then. And he pulls this prank, reenacting a dance and song sequence at his, I think it's like the last day of school. So he wants to go out with a bang, impress this girl that he really likes, Roxanne, I believe her name was. And he gets in trouble. The principal, after an awesome performance, by the way, it still slaps. The whole movie, there's so many great songs in a Goofy movie that still slap. But yeah, that was a great performance. But the principal gets him. He's in trouble. The principal calls Goofy and says, hey, Max is going down a wrong path. If you're not careful, he could end up in the electric chair. Again, the funny thing is, as a kid, you think about oh my God, this is funny. Like they just referenced the electric chair in a Disney movie. And Goofy's like, gork. What did you say?
Gorsh.
That was good. And so as a kid, you kind of, Max wants to go to this high school party with his friends to watch the Powerline perform, and Goofy wants to wants to be there for Max, wants to take him out on an adventure, kind of straighten him up, wants to build more memories because he can feel Max drifting further and further away from him. And so as a kid, I'm like, I'm on Max's side. I'm like, let Max hang out with his friends. Like, he really likes that girl. She's really cute. He has great friends. They're gonna have a good time. Why are you dragging Max across country on this wild road trip that he's not having a good time with? Why would you do this, Goofy? And then you grow up. I grow up, and a little maturity. I'm not saying I'm fully mature, but that bar rises a little bit. And then having a daughter of my own. And then you see it from the perspective, and it culminates in a moment near the end of the movie where Max is like, "I'm just trying to live my life," and Goofy goes, "I know, I'm just trying to be a part of it." And so you feel so bad for Goofy. This is his son. He loves him so much, and he feels like there's this divide that's growing between them, and he wants to do something that him and his father probably had done in before to build their relationship, to make sure that bond is solidified. And then Max does see that at the very end, and then they end up at Powerline concert, and then they had another kick-ass performance to end the movie.
Yes. I too,
so good. Again, I've been telling my wife, we need to watch that. You need to watch this movie.
Yeah,
it'll make you cry.
It's
a great movie with great songs. And so a Goofy movie is one that I definitely I see differently, specifically from Goofy's point of view for it growing up.
Yeah. God, I love that music. Yeah,
it's great.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
On the same vein.
Yes.
Same sort of. For me, it was The Little Mermaid.
Ah,
Right?
that's funny. Yeah.
It's like, girl, okay, right? Because you're watching it as a kid. She just
Yeah.
wants true love, and she wants to, and her dad's so mean, and all of this stuff. And then you watch it as an adult. It's like, girl, you are 16. You are 16 years old.
You don't know this guy.
You don't know this guy. He's a complete stranger. He lives on the land.
Yeah.
Like, humans are violent. And so you give up your soul? You give up, like, your voice, and then you sign a contract to sign over your freaking soul to go
Yeah.
hang out with this dude, and you can't even talk, and
Yeah.
he's hitting on you, and it's just weird and awkward, and just listen to your dad.
Yeah.
Just listen to your dad. It all worked out because it's a Disney movie, but girl, you're 16. Go home.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah. Ariel, we love you, but you're only 16.
doing?
Yeah, you're a kid. You don't love this guy.
That's
you think you
ridiculous.
love this guy. One movie that many people were bringing up also in this Reddit thread was Office Space, which I do love that movie. It's a classic. It's an instant classic. So I do agree that's a great movie in it of itself. I, however, have never worked in an office. I have worked at a restaurant. So the movie Waiting, starring Ryan Reynolds, a younger Ryan Reynolds, where the movie takes place in a restaurant, and you have like all these the wait staff, the bus boys, the managers. As somebody who's worked in the restaurant industry, I know all those characters in real life.
Yeah.
I know all those people in real life. Like, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. I know that a lot of people remember Waiting for having like the really gross moments where you have people like spitting in food or like really being really nasty and bad with food. I never experienced that, and I know many other friends who've worked in other restaurants, they've never experienced that because it doesn't really. It does happen, but not as often as you think it would. Because again, people get caught all the time. But fortunately, no one I know who's worked at restaurants have repeated those stories, or I've never seen that or witnessed that at my restaurant that I worked at. However, like the characters again, like the wait staff, like like the cool guy, or like the airhead kind of person, or the manager who's been there forever who should be leaving but refuses to leave. But more so, what's even funnier is the customers. The customers that come in during that movie, like they can be very annoying and like, oh, this didn't come with this, or this didn't come with this, or just being mean for no reason. And like, I've served that person before. Oh, I've served that person before. And so that movie, that like watching it, I watched that movie before I started working as a waiter in the restaurant. After working through that, some years after that, watching it again, like, oh my God, that's so real. It's so realistic. So Waiting is one movie that changed before and after working at a restaurant for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I have a TV show.
Okay.
A TV show. You ever watch Animaniacs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where they're all a little.
Yeah.
Yakko, Wacko, and Dot.
Yeah.
There are jokes in there that were purely for the adults.
Oh, yeah.
That went, completely over my head, back in the day, and you go back and you're like, how did they allow this?
Yeah.
Like, how did they get away with this? Like, there was some joke about Prince, and it's like, fingering Prince or something like that, and and just all the like Hello Nurse, and there's just a bunch of other ones that were just really like overtly
sexual innuendos
right?
that kids don't notice.
And it's like, oh my God, who let them put this in a kids show?
I know.
And wasn't that Steven Spielberg?
Steven Spielberg, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that. Looking back and watching Animaniacs, it's like, wow. Yeah,
Yes.
I appreciate it as an adult.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whoa.
I was
I
watching
did not
this.
get
Yeah,
this
yeah.
at all.
And like the parents are like, they're watching, like you're sitting on the floor and they're on the couch behind you watching the same thing. As you're watching it and these things are going over your head, in hindsight, they're like looking at each other like,
Right.
hopefully you didn't get that joke. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's a good one. There's a lot of like cartoons that in hindsight they hit a lot of sexual innuendo jokes or kind of risque jokes.
And race things too. Like
Race
the
things, yeah.
90s, they get a lot of
90s.
away with a lot of stuff.
Wild time.
Yeah.
Speaking about wild time, Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. This is an
Yeah.
infamous movie for people going back and reflecting on, because as a kid, you're like, you love Robin Williams. He's the fun dad. He's like bringing animals to a party. There's music. It's a block party. Like everybody's having a great time. And then Wet Blanket. Mom comes back and she's like, what is going on? Everybody out, get out. What are you doing? And like, oh my God. Like it starts like, again, as a kid, you're like, God, like this mom sucks. She's like, he doesn't want to have any fun. She's divorcing this guy. Like, why? He's Robin Williams. We love Robin Williams.
Yeah.
She's taking away the kids from him. Oh my God. And you can't believe what's going on. And then you understand, like, oh, he wants to see his kids. Of course. Who wouldn't dress up as a woman, as a 60, 70-year-old woman, and infiltrate their house again after being kicked out, and spending time with his kids and his wife and her new boyfriend? Who wouldn't do that? And then you grow up. And you're like, oh my God, Robin Williams should be in prison right now.
That's what I was going to say. He
This is a
100%
horror story. This is a horror
should
movie.
be arrested.
Yeah,
Right.
imagine if you were married, you divorced your husband because he was irresponsible, not reliable. He didn't care about your feelings or your concerns or thoughts, and lost his job and was just an
bum.
animal, a
He's a
bum
bum.
himself. And then you divorce him because you know what? Enough's enough. And then you try to move on with your life and you need a nanny and somebody comes in, you're like, oh, this person's perfect. And they're going to be at the house all the time. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to confide in them. They're going to be with the children and it's going to be great and all this stuff. And then you find out it's your ex the whole time. It's a horror movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Everything that he did, 100% prison time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember how it ends, like if there's a happy ending or something.
Well,
but he should not have gotten a happy ending is all.
No, yeah. So basically, he saves Pierce Brosnan's life at the dinner after he sabotages his food with a bunch of spices and peppers, and he almost chokes
Almost
to death.
kills him.
And then like he leaps through the restaurant over tables and stuff, and help is on the way. And he gives him the Heimlich, and then rips off his own mask. Like, oh, it's him the whole time.
Oh.
And then at the end, they go to court, and he's like, Your Honor, clearly I love my kids so much, and I was forced to do this. And he gets some visitation and whatnot, and it's kind of like okay, but yeah, he should have been, at the very least. Community service, at the very least, restraining order, but for sure, prison time.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Doubtfire.
I agree. And I think another movie that is on that vein, I see it's also on your list, who should also 100% be in prison, is the jolly old man from Jurassic Park.
From Jurassic Park, yeah. This funny thing is, and I'll repeat this verbatim because it was a funny comment on Reddit. But yeah, someone said Jurassic Park. As a kid, man, fun adventure movies with dinosaurs. As a teenager, whoa, genetic testing and chaos theory. As an adult, this is all about trying to get insurance approved for a zoo that just killed an animal handler and other impacts of mistreating underpaying staff. Like, yeah, Ned, who is the IT guy who sets everything into motion, like knocking down Jurassic Park. Yeah, he's a bad guy who led to direct deaths. That's not forgivable. That being said, I understand him wanting to like steal dino DNA and go to another company that would be paying him something that Hammond should have been paying him, already.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because he spared no expense except for the IT guy who's keeping your park running.
Who's the linchpin of everything.
Yeah.
And every single thing is controlled from your one, like, Windows 95 computer.
Yeah.
Like, operating system, one guy, one computer, and you didn't spare expense on that guy?
No.
And he's disgruntled and he runs away with everything.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you decide to bring your grandchildren to the unproven, untested zoo to be the guinea pigs. They're the ones that are testing it out.
Yeah. Again, the ego.
Hurricane.
Again, the ego. I won't fault him for the hurricane. Nature happens. Life will find a way.
But Don't send your kids out.
No. So, yeah, I attribute that to ego and his belief that he's God, he can do anything, and things will go okay. So I think he legitimately thought it would be safe. And honestly, if it wasn't for the hurricane and for him and for Ned's actions, then things would have gone okay. Maybe it would have been interrupted by the hurricane, but dinosaurs may not have escaped. I get that.
Yeah.
That being said, the point that some people were also making is that the lawyer, as a kid, you're like, the lawyer is the bad guy. He's a real jerk, and he hates the park, and he's a wet blanket, just like Miss Doubtfire and the mom.
Yeah.
But this guy, he sees the whole park as a huge insurance liability.
Yes.
Like, this is very dangerous.
It is.
It's very dangerous. And yeah, I get it. He ditched the kids in the car when the T-Rex came out. But how would any of us react if we saw a 25, 30-foot tall prehistoric monster run by our car? I'm not saying that I would run away. I wouldn't say I wouldn't run away. I'm just saying we don't know how we would react in that moment.
Yeah.
Because it's terrifying. That being said, he's just doing his job.
It was a huge
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah.
that place
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see that as an adult, but as a kid, you're just like, but it's so cool.
Oh, dinosaurs, they got the
Wow,
velociraptors. Oh my God. Scary.
DNA. And they've got
DNA.
like the park
Yeah.
ride and stuff like that.
The one last thing about Hammond, like Hammond continues, not only is he underpaying Nedry, but he's also like insulting him, because at one point he's like, our lives are in your hands and you have butterfingers? It's like, give him a break. And he's like, hey, where's Ned? It's like, oh, check the vending machine. It's like, he's tired of your crap. He's tired of it. So
Yeah.
was he responsible for a lot of lives lost? Yes. Could that have been avoided by paying him what he's worth?
Also, yes.
Yes.
So in conclusion, pay actors, right?
Pay actors.
Full circle.
Pay your
Full
staff.
circle.
Pay your
Full
staff.
circle.
Well, what a great episode. This was a fun episode. Let us know, really quick, what is your movie that you rewatched recently or after a long time and then realized, oh my God, I either missed that point or I'm viewing it as from a different angle, a different perspective in my life, or a different character? What movie is that for you? Also, Daredevil. Have you watched the first 2 episodes? What are your thoughts? Are you down for the rebirth? Is it reboots? Kind of a soft reboot?
Well,
A reboot to the face.
yes, that. It's a reboot to the face.
Yeah.
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 But it's a different part of his life, different characters. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, let us know also about your thoughts on artificial intelligence. Is AI going too far? Dubbing Spanish to English and English to Spanish, and this kind of like, just, I don't know, this sort of Frankenstein. This is Frankenstein. This is Frankenstein's monster right here. I'll say it. But you know what's not Frankenstein's monster? The Revenge of the Sith musical version that AI was able to create, because that's looping in my head. Watch that. Also, thanks for watching us on The Hub on Hollywood. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you know anybody who loves movies as much as we do, as much as you do, share the podcast with them. Have them join the Hub on Hollywood family. Get this, Jamie. We broke 300 subscribers on our YouTube page in December of 2024. We are in March. It's March 8th as of this recording. And we have 373.
73 this morning, I saw.
Let's fact check. 373.
Yeah,
373. So over 70
Killing it.
subscribers over the past few months of this new year.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing, telling your friends, and commenting down below. If you are listening to us, thank you so much also. You can listen on any major podcasting streaming service like iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So in case you're driving, you're working out, you're pumping iron, or you're running from dinosaurs or AI, you can listen to us as opposed to watching our lovely faces.
And James, they should join us for interviews with local actors, local filmmakers. We have the Deli Boys actor who's going to be joining us next week. And if you are a local talent, if you are a New England film person, television, film, acting, filmmaking, stunt person, lighting, design. We want to talk to you. We want to feature you on the Hub on Hollywood, feature your work, and continue to encourage and just love the films that are made, in particular here in New England, because we're just awesome like that.
Just awesome like that.
Yeah. So subscribe, like, share, all of the above, and we'll see them next week, right?
Help is on the way.
Oh, God. Until then,
I'm James.
I'm Jamie.
Bye.
Adios.